Shalom, my Hebrews and Shebrews. This is Oil-Filled Disciple, and we're going to do our daily bread a little bit different from here on out. We're going to read the prophets along with it, but we're going to do separate videos because I'm going to read Isaiah, which is considered a major prophet, not because he's better, not because he did more prophecy, but the major prophets are considered major prophets just because they're bigger books. Doesn't have anything to do with their stature. I'm going to read Isaiah, and then we are going to read, which one did I say? Uh, we're going to read one chapter of Isaiah and one of Hosea. We may read one or two chapters, just we'll see how the chapters go, but we're just going to continue where we've been reading in Isaiah, so we'll be in Isaiah chapter 9, and this will be the prophetic version of daily bread. Because I really want to get some word in, we're in these trying times, and the more word we can shove down our spirit and waken our spirit and revive our spirit and feed our spirit, the better off we're going to be in these days. And so, I'm going to read Isaiah 9. Before I go there, there's another post on Facebook. There's a neighboring town that we have about an hour and a half away from us, and a news headline come on: Artesia to cut off water supply during COVID-19 crisis. That was the headline. Go click on the picture, or go click on the article, and the article reads, those who are 2 months or more behind on their water bill will be cut off, have their water cut off. Man, I'm telling you, these dumbass headlines and this false information going out there, people not doing their own diligence, this is not helpful at all. Anyway, Isaiah chapter 9. Yes, Yehu. But there is no gloom upon her who is distressed, as when at first he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterwards more heavily oppressed her by the way of the sea, beyond the Jordan, in Galilee of the nations. The people who were walking in darkness have seen a green light. Upon those who dwelt in the land of the shadow of the death, a light has shone. Sorry, I got distracted by something over here at my well. Let me read verse 2 over again. The people who were walking in darkness have seen a green light. Upon those who dwelt in the land of the shadow of death, a light has shone. You shall increase the nation. You shall make its joy great. They shall rejoice before you as in the joy of harvest, as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. For you shall break the yoke of his burden and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, as in the day of Midian. For every boot of one trampling in tumult and coat rolled in blood shall be used for burning and fuel of fire. For a child is born to us, a son given to us, and the rule is on his shoulder. His name is called Wonder, Counselor, Strong El, Father of Continuity, and Prince of Peace. I believe Isaiah just prophesied the coming Messiah in the flesh, John 1:14. And God shall come and dwell amongst us, the mighty El, the Father of continuity. Verse 7. Of the increase of his rule and peace there is no end, upon the throne of David, and over his reign, to establish it, sustain it with right ruling, and with righteousness. From now on, even forever, the ardor of Yahweh of hosts does this. Yahweh sent a word against Jacob, and it has fallen on Israel. And the people shall know, all of them, Ephraim and the inhabitant of Shomeron, Samaria, who say in pride and greatness of heart, the bricks have fallen down, but we rebuild with hewn stones. The sycamores are cut down, but we replace them with cedars. And Yahweh set up the adversaries of the Retzin against him and stirred up his enemies, the Arameans before the Philistines, behind, and they devour Israel with an open mouth. With all his displeasure has not turned back. Verse 13, and the people have not turned back to him who strikes them, nor have they sought Yahweh of hosts. And Yahweh cuts off head and tail from Israel, palm branch and reed in one day, elder and highly respected. He is the head, the prophet who teaches falsehood. He is the tail. Then I just speak on that. We got the news media posting headlines to create fear in the populace. Verse 16, for the leaders of this people lead them astray, and those who are guided by them are swallowed up. Therefore Yahweh does not rejoice over their young men, and has no compassion on their fatherless and the widows. For everyone is defiled and evil, and every mouth speaks foolishness. With all this, his displeasure has not turned back, and his hand is still stretched out. For wrongness burns as a fire. It consumes thorn bushes and weeds, and sets the bushes of the forest ablaze, and they roll up like rising smoke. The land shall be turned up by the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and the people be as fuel for the fire. A man shall not spare his brother, and cut down on the right hand, but shall be hungry. And he devours on the left hand, but shall not be satisfied, each one devouring the flesh of his own arm. Manasseh, Ephraim, and Ephraim Manasseh, together they are against Yehudah. With all this, his displeasure has not turned back, and his hand is still stretched out. All right, verse 21, Manasseh and Ephraim, they are part of the tribes of Israel, um, coming from Joshua. Or not Joshua, Joseph's sons. They are Joseph's sons. So, like I said, we can take a lot of the words of the prophets, and if we're careful, we can stand on them for the issues that we're dealing with today. We got to be careful, though, we don't take them out of context, and we don't turn a promise, or we don't turn a possibility into a promise. Because when the prophets speak, they're speaking directly to Israel of that time, but they're also speaking to Israel of this time. And so we have to distinguish between promises and possibilities. Let's go to Hosea chapter 1. Hosea. The word of Yahweh that came to Hosea, son of Beri, in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, sovereigns of Yehudah, in the days of Jeroboam and Joash, sovereign of Israel. The beginning of the word of Yahweh with Hosea. And Yahweh said to Hosea, go, take yourself a woman of whoring, and children of whoring, for the land has utterly whored away from Yahweh. Yeah, sounds like us today. We're whores. So he went and took Gomer, daughter of Diblaim, and she conceived and bore him a son. And Yahweh said to him, call his name Yisrael, for in a little while I shall revenge the bloodshed of Yisrael on the house of Jehu, and put an end to the reign of the house of Israel. Ooh, we're getting dangerous here, y'all. It shall be in that day I shall break the bow of Israel in the valley of Yisrael. And she conceived again and bore a daughter. And he said to him, he being Yahweh, call her name Lo Ruhamah, for no longer do I have compassion on the house of Israel, so as to forgive them at all. But I shall have compassion on the house of Yehudah, and save them by Yahweh their Elohim, and not save them by bow, or by sword or battle, by horses or horsemen. And she weaned Lo Ruhamah, and conceived and bore a son. Then he said, call his name Lo Ami, for you are my people, and I am not for you. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which is not measured nor counted, and it shall be in the place where it was. Said to them, you are not my people. Hear that? You are not my people. They shall be called, you are the sons of the living El. And the children of Yehuda and the children of Israel shall be gathered together, and appoint for themselves one head, and shall come up out of the earth. For great is the day of Yisrael. I'm gonna leave that there with that. Um, yeah, like I said, we're gonna break up our daily bread, and we're gonna have our prophet series. Um, Let me drive for a minute and get moving with my day. I'll continue to speak. Um, the wicked news media, the social networking platforms that we have today, Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat, all that, they're making mountains out of molehills. They're keeping the people in fear. And we're operating in this world out of fear. Yahweh calls us to operate differently, does he not? Are we not supposed to operate a little differently when it comes to Yahweh? We're called not to be children of fear. That's why I don't know, I feel it on my spirit that we got to get a whole lot more scripture in us. We need to speak the words of Yahweh. Hebrews 4:12, the word is living and active and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, dividing even unto the asunder of the bone and the marrow. What's that mean? That means that as the word sharpens us and strengthens us, it'll also, and it should, just like I say, let it frustrate you. Be blessed, encouraged, and frustrated. Um, the word should do that. It should bless you. It should encourage you, and it should frustrate you, because it's going to tell you things that and want you and tell you to operate in ways that we're not taught in this world. You know, it's totally contrary to the way we were raised up to believe how we should operate. And that's the frustration that it should be bringing upon us. The word is sharp than two-edged sword. That's my new knife. It's a Damascus steel. It's about the size of what would have been considered a sword when Jesus told Peter to go sell your garment and get you a sword. I'd be about the size of the sword that they were dealing with and talking with. It's probably about the size of the sword that Peter lopped old dude's ear off with. And so, I don't know. I just bought it the other day. It's pretty nice. I like Damascus steel. Um, you know, we can either operate out of fear, y'all. We can either operate and fear the media and fear the government, or we can fear the Lord. Truly, like we're told to fear the Lord. Read his word, get diligent, be diligent, and be the servants of the Most High Yah that we were called to be. It's up to y'all. Um, Battling against this false information, battling against these false doctrines. Man, it's about to wear me out. But I'm going to persevere. I'm going to keep fighting against it, and that's all I can do. Every time I see a headline, go read it, flip the script on them, and say, look, this is what it is. You know, y'all quit operating out of fear, quit operating out of stupidity. Anyway, that'll be the word today. Y'all be blessed, be encouraged, and always be frustrated. This is Oilfield Disciple. I'll catch you on the next ride.